Johnny Big Rig Hendricks versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is the main event at UFC Fight Night 82, the event formerly known as UFC 196. I'm going to go over some facts and figures, then I'll give you my pick for this welterweight main event at the end of the video. First of all, Johnny Hendricks is 17-3, Wonderboy is 11-1, and will come into this fight with a significant 6-inch reach advantage. A fighter with a 6 or more inch reach advantage wins 60% of the time. Johnny Hendricks absorbs more strikes per minute, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson lands more strikes per minute. Now we're going to get into some stats that are kind of skewed, I think. First of all, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has landed more knockdowns in his UFC career than Johnny Hendricks. Just one more, but still, that's surprising, right? Another thing we need to talk about is Johnny Hendricks. When you think of him, you think of the overhand left knockouts, but let me list the guys that he's knocked out since 2010 with his overhand left or just his sheer power. Charlie Brenneman, TJ Waldberger, John Fitch, and Martin Kampmann. None of those guys are in the UFC anymore, and one of them, at least, is retired. Now you can think of that two ways. Either Johnny Hendricks puts guys out of the UFC, or what I think is actually true is that those guys just weren't top tier fighters and he knocked out the lower tier fighters and he can't do it to the top tier. Another stats that I feel like are a little bit skewed. Johnny Hendricks lands a lot more takedowns per fight. Now that's not skewed, but what is skewed is that Wonderboy has better takedown defense percentage and better takedown accuracy percentage. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson comes into this fight on a 5-fight win streak, and Johnny Hendricks is 3-2 in his last 5. Let's talk about Stephen Wonderboy a little bit. He is a 5-time world champion kickboxer. So that right there will tell you enough that he's going to come into this fight with a deeper tool chest in the striking department. He has a real wide stance, that karate stance, with one leg way in front of him than most guys would normally have. He's listed as an orthodox fighter, but he switches stances quite frequently. Now, his only loss in his UFC career or in his pro MMA career, period, was to Matt the Immortal Brown. And Matt beat him by closing the distance and getting Wonderboy to the ground, making it an ugly fight. Since that time, though, Stephen has increased his level of takedown defense. He showed some great takedown defense against Patrick the Predator Cote. Cote went in for a few takedowns, but didn't land a single one. And then he fought Jake the Juggernaut Ellenberger. And, a lot of people say that Jake Ellenberger has great wrestling. But when was the last time we saw that? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, basically Stephen didn't need the takedown defense because Jake hasn't been doing that lately. In that fight, Stephen finished Jake with an incredible kick, highlight reel kick. But a lot of people forget that Jake actually dropped Stephen early on in that fight despite getting finished at 4:29 of round number 1. Okay, so Johnny Big Rig Hendricks is a 4-time All-American wrestler for the University of Oklahoma State University, and 2-time national champion for that prestigious wrestling program. Now, he beat Carlos Condit, decision, 3 rounds. And then that got him a chance at George Rush St. Pierre. And he went the distance with the legend himself. A lot of people thought that Big Rig won that fight, myself included. And then he fought Robbie Lawler for the vacant belt after George St. Pierre retired. And he won a 5-round decision. Then he fought Robbie Lawler again, immediate rematch for Big Rig. Another 5-round decision. And then he beat Matt the Immortal Brown, 3-round decision. So when this fight was originally scheduled, it was for 3 5-minute rounds. But because the heavyweight championship of the world got postponed because Kane got hurt, Stipe came in, Fabricio Verdum was like, man, I'm kind of hurt. I don't want to fight Stipe when I'm hurt. I would have fought Kane though. It's a whole deal. Anyway, this is a 5-round fight now. So these guys were preparing for 3. Now they're getting ready for 5. And so we're getting into my pick now. Where I'm going to give the advantage in cardio for this 5-round fight is going to surprise you. I'm actually going to give it to Johnny Big Rig Hendricks because he's been there more times. Maybe that's not surprising, but maybe it is surprising because you think this guy always misses weight and that's going to cause him to not have a very good cardio. Well, we've been paying attention to him leading up to fight week, and last week he was 180 pounds, so I have whole confidence that he's going to be able to hit that 171-pound mark for this fight here. And why he has the advantage over Stephen Wonderboy? Wonderboy's only been scheduled for 5 rounds one time, and that was against Jake Ellenberger, finishing the first round. So we don't really know if he has what it takes to go to the 5th round. Another thing, Matt the Immortal Brown, when he fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, like I said, took him to the ground, and Stephen uses those long legs of his to do some really good defense from his back. Even though he has never attempted a submission in his UFC career, he does have some pretty good defense from his back, using those long legs to kind of keep them in that guard and at a distance. But what happened in that fight against Matthew Immortal Brown, his legs got tired and he couldn't throw those kicks with nearly the amount of zest as he threw them early on in the fight. This is a 5-round fight. If Johnny Hendricks gets him down early on in this fight, tires those legs out, Stephen Thompson's striking arsenal is going to be way more limited than it would be early on in this fight. I think that is what's going to happen. I think that Johnny Hendricks wins a it's not going to be a very fan-friendly way to win this fight, but I think that he's going to use some fight IQ here. He's going to get Stephen Thompson to the ground, kind of get some bump and grind. It's not going to be the most exciting fight in the world, but you know what? Johnny Hendricks has shown in the past that he's willing to win fights in this manner, despite what the fans would rather see happen. Now, this is prize fighting, folks. You win, you make more money. Johnny Hendricks is going to use an ugly, not very exciting style to win this fight, in my opinion. Of course, that is my pick. I'm putting it on my UFC pick'em by decision or possibly KO or TKO in the 5th round because, perhaps since Stephen Thompson has never been to the 4th and 5th round, Johnny could tire him out and get a ground and pound finish later on in this fight, perhaps. But I don't fault you at all if you want to put a shot on Stephen Thompson. The odds right now have Johnny Hendricks as the favorite at -220. The comeback on Stephen Thompson at +180. Like I said, I do see a clear path to victory for Stephen Thompson, so I don't fault you for choosing that. But I'm going with Johnny Hendricks using that fight IQ, non-fan friendly way to win this fight. Probably by decision. Tell me who you're picking in the comment section down below. Please give this video a thumbs up. My goal for thumbs up on this video is 10. Also, if you like this preview, I'm going to be doing at least the main event and the co-main event for every UFC event from now until, the foreseeable future at least. Please hit that subscribe button as well. Thanks again for watching and listening, guys. Namaste.